Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ships at Sea, Round 1. These are the first boats that came out with the game. We're going to take a look at each one of them and pretty quick look. This is the Romeo. Obviously, you guys have had this boat. I'm not going to really go into details on this one, but this is the boat that you start with. And you can do some... I never did the tutorial, so I just started with money, and I went out and I bought the small cargo boat to get my meteoric career, successful career, the rise to meteoric success that I've experienced. Anyway, now I am in the northern port of Vidoya, and I'm having an issue getting the smaller boats to load. The larger ones will load, but because there's no like small slip, you can't load the smaller boats up here. So we're up in the north in Vidoya. Roster is the main town of Rost. And speaking of Roster, this is the Rost cargo ship. You can buy the ship right when you start the game. They give you $50,000, and this boat is $49,000. I would strongly recommend upgrading the propeller as soon as you can, because that will give you an additional, 5 to 6 knots, and it makes the boat more efficient. And then you can get the biggest motor, which will make this boat run about 14 or 15 knots, which is, I think, equivalent to like 25 miles an hour, something 20 to 25 miles an hour. So it's a pretty fast-moving little boat once you get it upgraded all the way, and this is good for carrying small and extra small cargo. You can also load it with a smolt tank, and the smolt tank allows you to be able to fill up the fish farms, and I've already done a video on the fish farms, so if you want to watch that, that's a good way to see. I'll put the link to that down in the description, but it'll show you how to fill up. Using a boat, you can fill it up with fish, and then you got to bring food out. With the small fish tank on here, I think it'll fill this up, and you should be able to put at least 2 or 3 bags of food in the back. To do the fish, it requires 7 days for them to grow full size, and you'll need about 8 bags of food. So you'll probably want to do 3 or 4 bags along with the smolt container if you can squeeze them on here. It may not load, but you can try. I haven't done it with this one. I used the bigger boat. I could get 8 bags on the bigger boat, but this one I'm not sure. But I think the tank will go here, and then you have some room to put cargo. But you could get at least 3 bags back here, and then give them some food for a couple days. Run this back to port, load up more food, and bring it out to them. And from that point forward, you can use this to ferry food back and forth to your smolt. Or salmon, I could say. There's also a fuel tank that you can load on this boat, which will allow you to, there's little fuel stations all over the map, like here at Teest. Oh, there's a rescue mission. That's new. Oh, man. I want to take that mission. That's new. This is the cool thing about this game is they keep adding stuff. This is why this is round 1, because there's going to be a lot more ships coming even in the next week or so. A bunch of cargo missions available. Anyway, here's Stavoya is another example. Store fillet. You can use that fuel tank to take fuel from the main places, which are here, and then also at Rost, and deliver that fuel to those when they run out of fuel, that you can refill them when using that tank. So it can be used for cargo, it can be used for smolt and food delivery, and then you can also use it for small package delivery. Inside the wheelhouse, you have a little walking space, and obviously all the controls. You can upgrade the steering wheel and this, but they don't really do much of anything. Really, the big upgrades are, first off, the propeller, and then the more expensive upgrade is the engine. Probably worth it, though, if you're going to stick with this boat for a while, because every little bit of speed counts. But the propeller is cheap, like $10,000, and it gives you at least double the initial speed, so it's worth it. So yeah, it's a good little boat, and I've done a lot of work in it, and we put some miles on this, and it works well as a cargo ship, and also like the fishing providing. Because once again, if you do the smolt or the salmon in the fish farm, you can make, I believe it's $14 million or $12 million roughly, 12.9 per load. So you take them out, and 7 days later, you got $12 million worth of fish. So just this little starting boat can make you some serious money right from the start. All right, next up, you've seen this boat in some of my other videos. This is Flippy. Now, Flippy has a little engine, so it's actually cheaper to upgrade. You can do the propeller and the upgrade. Flippy cost about $100,000, 100,000 krona, which would be about $10,000 in real life, or in American oh my God, American money. It is NOK is real money, Norwegian money, Norwegian krona. They're about 10 to 1. So for every 10 that you have in the game, it's about $1 US. So $100,000 would be about 10,000 US dollars. This is a great fishing boat. You can run the longest lines currently off of it. It doesn't have any restrictions, so you can do a 10,000 hook line. I would honestly equip this with 2 lines and grab some bait. You go out, lay the 2 lines down in your in the fishing areas, and then pull them back in, rebait them, put them back out again, and then come back to port. Upgrade this one all the way. This boat goes about 14, I think, knots, 14 and a half knots. It's pretty fast. It's not super fast, but it's not the fastest boat in the game for sure. But it's fast enough to get you out to the fisheries and back. It's small. It doesn't take a lot of fuel. It's pretty easy to navigate. But the downside is, once again, it's harder to. You're not really supposed to be able to port it up here now. I think. Let's check though and see. Oh, I was wrong. Here's the roster. So you can load you can't load Romeo here for some reason. Probably because there's no slip, but. The roster loads, and Flippy also loads. So you can run them out of Vidoya, which is great. So Flippy is, once again, I'm going to say right now, even though I have the bigger fishing vessel, because there's no restraints on the game and there's no crew, Flippy's probably the easier of the 2 boats to use for the fishing vessels. We'll look at the other one, too, which I think is the Conquest is what it's called. But Flippy's the boat that you're going to want to use for normal fishing. So you can rig it for fishing. You can also throw a little cargo in it, so you can use it for the small or extra small cargo and small cargo. I'm not sure if it allows you to put regular cargo in here, but supposedly it can take extra small cargo, which as you can see here, you could probably put like 1 of them on here. There's not a lot of space. But you can have, I had 4 buckets on here. I'm not sure how many the limit is, but I think 4 might be the limit of how many lines you can carry on this boat. But that's way more than enough. So this is the good fishing boat, though. Once again, the big boat's a little too big for its britches, and I can't go in the wheelhouse to show you. There's a little bed and stuff in there. But this ship does not allow you to walk inside there yet. I don't know if they're going to keep it like that or if they're going to fix it so that you can actually go into the boat. But as of right now, I can't go inside. And you can't really move around the cockpit when you're in there. When you leave the driving mode, you come right back out here on the deck. So it's a very small boat, but it's a good boat. All right, next up. Here we have the Fixer. This is a fast little boat. When it's upgraded all the way, it runs about 16 and a half knots. So it's quick. You can use this, I believe. Well, you can definitely move. Actually, no, you can't. You can move small packs of fish food on it. It takes small and extra small cargo. So you can hand load fish food onto here, but it's going to be a pain in the butt because it doesn't take the medium-sized packages, or the crane won't let them go. So you can't load them on. But the Fixer takes small and extra small cargo. So you could bypass buying the cargo boat and buy this, but it doesn't do the tank for the smolt, I don't believe. We'll check it again, but I don't think it does any of that. And it also, you can't do any fish rigging or anything like that. And though I'm seeing this tow mission that you guys saw out there, we may be able to tow boats with this now. When I bought the boat, there were no tow missions. So I'm going to have to see how those work, but apparently they're starting to get into the game, and that's part of the idea is to do tow missions. When I first got this boat, all you could do was the whale watching, so it's kind of pointless. But now that I've seen that wrecked boat, there's obviously going to be some wrecked boat missions that we can take, so that's pretty neat. And so we can rescue a ship, and I'll do that in another video. But I wanted to share this boat with you because it's really cool, and it is fast, and it will be basically rescue. This boat is about 400,000 krona. I think it's like 395, somewhere around there. So it is not cheap. And once again, it's not going to make a ton of money at first, but when you start doing the rescue missions, I think they're going to pay pretty well. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'll just take you a little inside tour. This is the, I'm turning it on. This is the cabin. Very small cabin. But you can, it's heated probably. You can shut the outside out. All the whale watchers can stand back here and fall off the back of the boat when you accelerate quickly. You got a little water cannon that you can use to put fires out, which is why the boat's fast. It needs to be quick so that you can get out and respond. And it's a really neat little boat. So there you go. And this is a little area to put cargo if you need to also. So that's the Fixer. So unfortunately, they take the prices out once you buy the boat. So I can't sadly can't remember offhand how much Dr. Phil was. I want to say he was roughly about 1,000,000 krona, maybe 950,000 krona. This is it's a catamaran sort of, or a double hull, dual hull ship. Not necessarily a catamaran, but it's dual hull. And this is probably the most money making ship in the game so far, because you buy a small smolt tank and put 8 bags of food on it, drive it out to one of those, the fish farms, buy the fish farm, and within a week you'll have 12 million bucks. And then you can just keep doing that over and over again and making a ton of money with this little boat. And or mid-sized boat, I should say. It's a small ship at this point. Dr. Phil's expensive to upgrade. He's got 2 motors and 2 props that you're going to have to replace, totaling probably about $300,000 or $400,000 in upgrades. He's not cheap, but boat runs at about 14 knots, so it's pretty quick. It's actually quicker than the smaller cargo boat. And once again, I've got this one equipped for smolt. This can also take a fuel tank. You can do a larger smolt tank, which will hold 100,000 smolt, but the problem is feeding them. Right now, the feeding system is a nightmare. And if you do 100,000 smolt, I can guarantee you your fingers are going to fall off and you're going to end up with carpal tunnel, because you have to hand feed every single bag of food into the fish feedery. And if you buy the big 1,000-pound bags, you have to break those up and feed them in 50 kilograms at a time. So each bag has, each bag has 20 bags in it. And so you have to break the bags down, load 20 bags into the things. It takes 8 of those, multiply that by 20. You're going to have to do it anyway, and that's just for the 20,000. So if you have 100,000 smelt, you're going to have to unload I want to say maybe 500 bags of food. So if you want to do that, great. I would be ready to shoot myself. But if I only have to do 100 bags, let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180 bags. I have to do 180 bags. You have to do 180 bags, approximately. The little bags. And that would come in 8 of the large 1,000-pound or 1,000-kilogram bags. That's enough to feed the entire 20,000 smolt till they're adults. So that's a 7-day process once again. So every 7 days, you're going to need 20,000 smolt and 8 bags. Anyway, the point is this boat is capable of doing that and making money. And then once you're done loading the smolt on, you can go ahead and take that off, take it back to port and take it off. And then you can go run some cargo missions while you're waiting for your smolt to mature. And then you just head out there and sell them. But this is a nice big boat, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. Now, the downside is the cargo area is not back here. It's only on this metal diamond plating, so you can't put anything back here. It all has to go up on the diamond plate. But that's okay. That's how it's designed. Once again, this can also do fuel. And it takes medium packages, so you'll be using the crane to load the medium packages on, so you better have the crane skill. There you go. And inside, we have a nice little cabin. I haven't upgraded the steering wheel or the throttle. Once again, it doesn't make a difference, but I probably will at some point just because I'm rich now. But yeah, so it's great view, easy to see out of when you're driving. A little hard to see behind you, though, because you got this wall, so you kind of have to step over and see what's behind you. But it's a nice little ship, and it'll make you a lot of money if you do the fish farms. This is a good fish farmer. And a good cargo ship, too, once again, because it takes the bigger cargoes. Next up, we have the Conquest. Now, this is going to be a 2-crew boat. I can almost guarantee it. So maybe even 3 crew members. Right now, there's no gutting in the game, but I'm imagining you're going to need this boat to gut. That's that's where you bring the line in, but that also might be a gutting table. Not sure. But this is our fisher, and you can use this boat to go fishing. It's a little slower than Flippy, and right now, since there really is no capacity limits, there's no point in taking this boat out. But as soon as they implement either crew members or capacity limits, or limiting how big the lines are, or enabling net fishing, because that doesn't work yet. The Flippy doesn't do net fishing, but this boat does. The Conquest does. So when net fishing comes, or when they limit the lines that you can put on Flippy, or when you have the ability to hire crew members, this is going to be great, because this boat is... It'll have room for crew members, so you don't have to whack the fish anymore. If you've played the fishing game, it kind of sucks. as they come up, you have a hook. You have to whack the fish, and if you miss the fish. It's a pain in the butt, and they haven't really cleaned that up yet, so it's a frustrating experience. So you can just have your worker come out here and do it, and you can just run the boat, and he can whack the fish, and you'll get a much better return because he's whacking the fish instead of you. I'm using two 10,000 hook lines. This is the Conquest, and like I said, it's not a bad boat at all. Much bigger fuel tank than the Flippy, but it's frustrating to use because right now it's no good. It's no good, but Flippy works better for what we're doing right now. But when net fishing and all the other stuff comes out, it's going to be a much better boat. So there you go. Last but not least, the Skarven at 1.4 million krona, which is about 150,000 bucks. Not bad, actually. I think in America this would actually probably cost more like 400,000 or 500,000 if we really looked at it. This is a fireboat. It goes 26 knots when fully upgraded, which I have. And it's used to rescue and tow boats, which is what I plan on doing with it. Look at how cool this thing is. This is the ultimate rescue boat. I don't know if I mean, the XS is pretty fast, or the Fixer is pretty fast, but this is like really cool. Once again, in a game, you can use this to do whale watching. You can also obviously do rescue missions with it. It can hold just the small cargo like the other ones. So you can't really use it for cargo. You can't really use it for fishing. But that's not what this boat's for. It's for rescuing other boats. I'm not sure how this is going to go into crew play, but like with multiplayer. But it's a cool boat, and it looks like it obviously has a 4-man crew. Mine's been upgraded some. No, can't go down in there yet. Dang. That's probably where the living quarters. But this boat goes real fast. So obviously they've put seats in for you guys for people to sit their little butts and relax. But this is the biggest ship in the game currently. However, I think by the end of the week I'll have another video out, round 2, with probably 3 or 4 new ships. It might be a little longer. I got to make some money, and I've got to make enough money to purchase said ships. But yeah, this is a pretty cool boat. Looking forward to being able to use this. Once again, the only rigging you can put on this boat, just like the Fixer, is the hose on the front. But that's the Skarven, and it's pretty sweet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like this tour of all the boats. And I will see you guys again later this week or early next week when we have the next set of boats that have come out. And I'm looking forward to showing you guys how cool they are and what they look like. And then keep an eye out. I'll be releasing a video later this week also with an actual rescue mission. And so let's get there and do it. Have a good one. Make sure to thumbs up, subscribe. Those things all help. Don't forget to check us out on Twitch. I've been streaming this game a lot lately. My Twitch account is www.twitch.tv/VBLU guitar. And that link will be in the description. Hope to see you there. Have a great night, and we will see you guys on the next Fishing Ships at Sea. It's not called fishing. It's just called Ships at Sea. Sorry. I'm going along with the series, and it's not a series anymore. Bye.